Hey folks, it's Fernando doing another video here for the More Survivalist, and I have a couple announcements first before I get started. I'm getting a little bit more involved with all the social media stuff, Facebook, Twitter, and such. I'm going to be adding a few more there. Yes, if you did receive an email from me, it was probably because we've interacted at some point before. So yes, that is correct in LinkedIn and such. And I'm still getting the hang of it. I'm not very good at it. I was never good, but I'm giving it another chance right now. And it's nice because I'm already, getting some messages and comments back and forth. And it's always good to interact with people. So if you haven't done so already, in my website, themodernsurvivalist.com, you will find my Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff. So like, add, or follow, or whatever it's called. And yeah, also my book, The Modern Survival Manual, Surviving the Economic Collapse, over 300 reviews. I think it's 301 by now. And man, I've always said it, but it doesn't get old. Thank you so much for that. Whenever I read one of those reviews, especially the 5-star reviews, it really helps in so many ways. Of course, it helps with promoting the book and my work and such, but it also gives me a lot of encouragement, even when I'm getting emails, or recently with all the social media stuff. Some of you guys telling me that my work has helped you in some way, that what I write has helped you prepare better, or be more aware, or more awakened to what's happening around you. I always say that sort of thing makes my day, because it does. I do this because I love doing it. So that's also something that I want to say. And specifically about this video, it's going to be something suggested through, I think it was someone, a guy, a friend in LinkedIn that said that I should do a video on social network security, social media security. And this is a great idea, actually, because I see lots of folks making pretty big mistakes. Now, whenever you go public, when you start showing your face like I'm doing right now in YouTube, you're exposing yourself. When you do it in Facebook as well, you are doing that too. There's always sometimes when, depending on what you're doing, for example, what I do, I need to have a certain credibility, and I can only achieve that by exposing myself a little bit. Whenever I see some of these guys that are not showing their faces, when you don't have a name or a face attached to someone, it's much harder to believe that person or to take that advice seriously, right? There's always a doubt of who's this guy? Is this guy really doing what he says he's doing? So when you do something like this, like what I do, and you are putting your name and your face out there, you kind of don't have much of an option. You have to show your face. You have to have a name attached to yourself. Now, when you do this, because of no other reason, just hanging out with friends on Facebook and such, maybe you don't need to be as to take as much risks as someone that has a matter of credibility being necessary for what he's doing, right? Like an author that you need to actually show your face and such. When you have social media, you don't need to actually tell your true name. Maybe you could have a nickname. So let's get through these 5 points really quickly. Number 1 is actually using your real name. Do you actually have to use your real name, or can you just get by with a nickname? Whenever possible, don't even put your real name in Facebook. Just use a nickname or some other name. And people that do know you, people that do have an idea of who you are already, they're not going to be having much of a problem with that. They're going to be understanding. So tip number 1 would be that be very careful already with your name. Your name is essential for anyone that wants to steal your ID. Your name is going to be the first thing. If you don't have to use it, avoid using it if you can. Number 2 is your location. Try to be very, not to be very specific about where I'm living. I do say, what country I am and such, but try to be a little bit non-specific, okay? Whenever you give your exact location, especially don't ever put your full address online anywhere. It's not necessary, and especially not in anything that is public, like in Facebook and such. Putting your name and your address, you're already giving way too much information about yourself. With your with your address, with your name, that's enough to do a lot of damage in terms of ID theft. It's already way too much information. So maybe say the city that you are in, especially if you really want to contact with other people in your same location. Maybe your city is as far as I would go. Definitely don't make public your exact address. That's a big point. Number 3, in terms of photographs. What kind of photographs are you going to be showing? What kind of comments are you going to be making in terms of where you are at that moment? One of the most common mistakes that I see, and I actually know a lot of people that paid for this quite dearly, is typical. You go on holidays, you take a picture, oh, we're having a great time in the beach. And a couple days later, that person's house gets broken into. This happened a lot in Argentina, for example, and people had to learn the hard way not to tell on Facebook when they were on holidays. So be very careful of the photographs that you're posting. Don't post it when you're on holidays. And if you're going to be posting photographs and you want to share those, at least do it after the actual trip, all right? A couple weeks after you came back, then you post it. At the very least, do that. Also, one of the things that I've noticed is people posting, a new car, a new house, or some other expensive thing that they bought. All that gives a pretty good idea of your socioeconomic level, what kind of, how much money you may have. All right, the kind of things that you have in your house as to steal if someone breaks into. All those things you're going to be showing with your pictures. Pictures of your kids. Maybe you're not giving your exact address, but you're taking pictures of your house on the outside, and it's visible and it's easy somewhat to tell where you are. Avoid doing that. Avoid taking pictures of the front of your house, or pictures that are very telling of the neighborhood where you are. Pictures of your kids. That's definitely something that you want to be careful about. But most of all, the pictures of the school uniforms as well. That's something that really narrows down who the person is, where they are. All right, that would be number 3. Number 4, very important, and this happens a lot with Facebook and such, with your birthday. Be very careful, because if you have someone's name, address, and birthday, you already have everything you need so as to change lots of things in terms of bank information, of personal accounts. This is the kind of thing that is usually asked so as to verify your idea, your birthday, where you live, your name, your mother's name, your father's name, and such. All these things, most people make the mistake of eventually revealing them through social media. Finally, last piece of advice, maybe the most important one, anything that you post, assume that someone is going to be reading it. Someone in the government is going to be reading it. Someone of authority is going to be reading it. Everything you write online is there pretty much forever. It's never going to be going away. Always assume before posting, even before searching something, because everything that you type is going to be read by someone. And it's not maybe going to be read, but it's going to be going through countless systems that are going to be flagging different words. They already have algorithms that detect certain patterns on the way you post, on the things you write about. They don't even need someone reading through all this. It's all automatic. And whenever you write about certain key words that are flagged, it all forms a profile of you as a person. So be very careful, especially about doing ridiculously stupid stuff, so as posting, and this has happened a lot on YouTube as well, people posting things that are downright illegal. All right, maybe doing silly jokes, so to speak, with their kids that border on child abuse. And guys, in the U.S., this may end up costing your concealed carry license gun if you're not careful in the way you express yourself in YouTube and some of your social media, in Facebook and such. You can lose your concealed carry license. You can even lose your kids. So be very careful whenever you're about to post anything, video, comments. Consider that the police are going to be reading this. All right, guys, that's going to be 5 tips for you guys to keep in mind in terms of social networking and being safe out there on the internet. Guys, remember to subscribe, take care, have a great day, enjoy your weekend, see you in our next video.